What is up guys, this is ABK here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now today's video is an MKT video, as you all would have seen from the title, but in today's video we'll be going over a pretty interesting topic, at least I would say. Before we start, I would like to tell you all a short story about an incident that happened while I was playing MKT. So it's story time with ABK. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, so let's begin our story. So this is during the Wild West tour that took place about a month back, I think it was. Yeah, about a month back, the Wild West tour. So I was playing a course, which I think it was a Calamari Desert course, and a character, Morton, a Koopa kid. I despise the Koopa kids, okay? So Morton was a top shelf character, and for some odd reason I decided to look at the courses that Morton was top shelf in, because for some weird reason I remembered that last time when I played that course, Morton was not a top shelf character in it, and I checked and yes, that was true. Morton was not a top shelf character for that course. I think that course was Calamari Desert 2. I don't remember very well which one it was because it was a month back, so please excuse me for not knowing that. But I was pretty surprised. I just thought it was an honest mistake from the developers' side. I wasn't that sure, but I didn't ponder much over it and I just continued playing the game. As days went on, I kept on seeing this trend for some reason that any item in the game, let it be a driver, cart or a glider, some of them weren't placed correctly in which shelf they should be in. So like, supposing if you have a second shelf cart for a course, for some reason few of them were top shelf ones when they shouldn't have been. So I was surprised and I thought I can look more into this and make some notes. So that's what I'll be sharing with you guys in today's video. I'll be sharing you all my notes for these changes, I can call them, for the Pirate Tour as well as the Summer Festival Tour. So these two tours, I made notes on what drivers, carts or gliders, if they were placed incorrectly or anything like that. That's what I noted down and I'll be sharing it with you all right now. And from what I looked, I was able to find two similarities between each change. The reason why each change was made is due to two factors. Now you all might be able to find what those two factors are during the rest of this video, but if you all don't, I'll be revealing it at the end of the video as well. But if you catch on to it before that, you can leave it down in the comment section down below, at least what you think are these two factors. If you all enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as it helps me a lot in making videos like this one and it is greatly appreciated. Okay, now let's move on to the video. Alright, I forgot to tell you guys one more thing. These changes, they're only for top shelf drivers, carts and gliders for a course, so I won't be going through second shelf and bottom shelf items as I hope most of you all wouldn't really want to look into that, as the top shelf items are the most important. I hope you all understand. Let's move on to these changes. I have no idea what to call these, I'll call them changes. Alright, so starting with the Pirate Tour, the first change was in Neo Bowser City R, and this was in the Bowser Jr. Cup, and the change was, well, Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. was top shelf. Next up is Ghost Valley 1T, where King Bob-omb is a top shelf driver. Next is Choco Island 1R, where Toadette was a top shelf character. Alright, now this one's pretty long. We have Frappe Snowland T. Alright, first up, King Boo and Bowser Jr. Pirate were both top shelf drivers, and then secondly, the Pirate Sushi Racer was also a top shelf cart. Next we go on to Airship Fortress T, where the Bob-omb parafoil was a top shelf glider. Now moving on to Bowser's Castle 1R, Bowser himself was a top shelf driver. Now we have Ghost Valley 1R, where King Bob-omb was a top shelf driver. Now we have RMX Mario Circuit 1T, where Dry Bowser is a top shelf driver. Now we have another long one, Airship Fortress. Firstly, King Bob-omb is a top shelf driver. The Silver Bullet Blaster is a top shelf kart, and the Bob-omb parafoil is a top shelf glider. Now we have Rock Mountain with Diddy Kong being a top shelf driver. Neo Bowser City T with the Silver Bullet Blaster kart being a top shelf kart. Now we have Neo Bowser City with Bowser Jr. Pirate being a top shelf driver. Now we move on to Daisy Hills T with Wendy being a top shelf driver. Alright, time for another long list. We have Airship Fortress T. Firstly, we have Bowser Jr. Pirate, where he is a top shelf driver. We have the Pirate Sushi Racer, which is a top shelf kart. And we have the Lightning Oil Paper, which is a top shelf glider. Now we have Luigi's Mansion RT, where Wario is a top shelf driver. Alright, now time for the final change in the Pirate Tour. We have Mario Circuit 1RT, where Koopa Troopa is a top shelf driver. Alright, that is it for the changes in the Pirate Tour. Now let's move on to the Summer Festival Tour, where firstly we have Luigi's Mansion R with Quickshaw being a top shelf kart. Next up we have Mario Circuit 3R, where Morton is a top shelf driver. Now we have Tokyo Blur 2T, where Mario Happy and Peach Kimono are top shelf drivers, and the Fireworks Parachute is a top shelf glider. Now we have Koopa Troopa Beach 2, where Daisy Yukata is a top shelf driver. Now we have Tokyo Blur 3T, where the Quickshaw is a top shelf kart and the Full Flight is a top shelf glider. Now we have Luigi's Mansion T, where Baby Rosalina is a top shelf driver. Now we have Tokyo Blur 3R, where the Festival Girl is a top shelf kart. Now we have Royal Raceway, where Mario Happy, Yoshi and Peach Kimono are top shelf drivers. Now we have Choco Island 2T, where Dry Bones is a top shelf driver. Next up is Tokyo Blur 2R, where there are a lot of changes, guys. First up we have Mario Hakama, who is now a top shelf driver. We have the Glam Bruiser, which is a top shelf kart. And we have the Fireworks Parachute and the Purple Oil Paper Umbrella, which are top shelf gliders. Next up, Koopa Troopa Beach 2R, where Monty Mole and Daisy Yukata are top shelf drivers. Moving on to Cheep Cheep Lagoon, where Baby Daisy is a top shelf driver. Now we have Tokyo Blur T, where Mario Hakama is a top shelf driver. The Kabuki Dasher as well as the Full Flight are top shelf gliders. Next up is Tokyo Blur 3T, where Daisy Yukata is a top shelf driver and the Crimson Crane is a top shelf glider. Next up we have Rainbow Road RT, where Birdo is a top shelf driver and the Purple Oil Paper Umbrella is a top shelf glider. Moving on to Bowser's Castle 1RT, Bowser is a top shelf driver. Next up we move on to Royal Raceway R, where Pichette is a top shelf driver. Now we have Tokyo Blur 3, where Festival Girl is a top shelf cart. And last but not least, we have Mario Circuit 2RT, where Mario Happy is a top shelf driver and the Glam Bruiser is a top shelf cart. Now we have gone through all of the changes from the past two tours, which were the Pirate Tour as well as the Summer Festival Tour. Now, have you all figured out the similarity between all of the changes? I'll give you guys some time to try and figure it out. You guys can pause the video as well to try and think about it if you all need longer. Alright, time is up. So, I'll tell you guys the two things that are in common. The first thing that is in common is that they are a featured item for that specific tour. By featured item, I mean they can be a spotlight item or they are behind a paid banner which you can buy with your real money. Now the second factor is that that specific course is part of a certain character's featured cup. So for example, in the current tour right now, the Summer Festival Tour, the head honcho cart is behind a paid banner and the full flight glider is a spotlight glider in the Summer Festival Pipe Tour. Now if we look at Royal Raceway R, I'll put it back again on the screen. The Royal Raceway R is in the Pichette Cup. So Pichette is favored to be a spotlight driver for that course. Alright, so from all of this researching that I've done for this video, these are the only situations where an item is top shelf when they shouldn't be top shelf actually. Now why I think Nintendo does this is because they want players to spend their money and or rubies on pipes and the paid banners. Now obviously that does make sense. Nintendo wants players to buy these premium things so that they have an easier time in ranked mode or just that they want to complete their collection or anything like that, you know. That's what Nintendo wants. Nintendo wants you to spend your money on the game. This is a smart strategy to entice players to give money to the game, but the only, and I say only, worthwhile way that players should spend their money is on the Gold Pass. Now I have made a separate video on this channel talking about the worth of the Gold Pass and if players should spend their money on it or not. Now I will leave a link to that video in the description down below if you guys want to check it out, and also the video will be in the top right corner as well so that you guys can go check that out once you have finished watching this video. Okay, so continuing on, as I said, the most efficient way for players to spend their money is on the Gold Pass. Now, most casual players and players who aren't the most hardcore on the game, they wouldn't really buy rubies or paid banners with their real money. And also, in case you guys did not know, all paid banner items can also be found in the pipes, but the chance of getting them is really rare because one thing, most of the paid banner items are high ends and the chance to get a high end item is really low, and secondly, since they aren't spotlights, you aren't guaranteed to get them from 100 pipe pull as well. So one solution to this can be that Nintendo can reduce the price of the banners. So you know, like right now the banners are pretty expensive, I would say at least. So maybe if Nintendo can reduce the price, more players might want to buy those paid banner offers. I don't know what Nintendo's marketing strategy is for this, but I think that would be a solid idea. Because right now, from what I know, most of their income is only from the Gold Pass. right? Since most players only spend money on gold pass, it's only the top most hardcore of players who might buy the paid banners as well. You never know, right? Now, if you all want the MKT team to make this change to reduce the price of banners, you guys can share this video to them. Why not? They'll take a look, they will understand, and then they'll give me a shout out and then they'll say,
Oh, look, this guy here, ABK Master, told us to reduce the price of banners. Sure thing, mate. We'll reduce the price of the banners. Here you go. Are you happy now?
Alright, so that is it for today's video, guys. I want to know what you guys thought of it. Now, I really enjoy making these types of videos as well. So if you enjoy them as well, make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel as well. And if you all have any other video suggestions, leave them down in the comment section as well. And I also want to know what you guys thought of these changes. Do you think that it is smart for them to do it, or do you think that the game becomes a bit too difficult, especially in ranked mode, when supposing if the top shelf items are only paid banners or spotlights, and if you can't spend your money on them, do you find it a bit too difficult, or if it's kind of forced then on you to spend money on the game to be able to have a chance of going up in tiers? I don't know. There are just some scenarios that can happen. They've happened to me countless numbers of times as well. But I want to know from you guys as well. So that is it from me. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.